Don't Stop the Motion with your host, Chino Juan Moreno. Special guest, CD.Animation.
Hello people, and welcome back to another Chino Juan Moreno Stop Motion channel. This time we have another episode of Don't Stop the Motion, and we have a super cool guest, CD.Animation. Bro, how you doing, man? This is my pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. I'm super excited for this, and it's an honor to be on here, man.
Thank you so much for being on the show, man. I talked to you a long time ago, and it was a long way because I had a surprise for you guys, and I will just make the settings so you guys can see what's going on. But I don't want to take the attention of you, man. It's my honor. I've been a fan of your channel, and I think it's very underrated. And I'm sure you are going to explore the internet very soon. Because, bro, you're just very smooth, man. You're like a smooth criminal.
Thank you. Definitely try to go with that super high quality animation. Even if it's like something like I gotta make up, I try to make it up in my animation, you know.
Yeah, man, I can tell. So tell me, are you shooting at 30 frames per second or something?
24 frames per second, but there are certain shots where I'll throw in 30 frames per second. I think the highest amount that I did for one of the episodes, I think it was chapter 1, during one of the fight scenes, I put in 38 frames per second. Just once though, just once. So
that's super cool, bro. That's super cool, man. I can tell. But to be honest with you, I think I haven't watched on any YouTube channel the level of smoothness that you got and the level of quality. With especially the hardest thing to pull out on stop motion are the slow movements. You know, the natural ones, the head, the necks, the twisting of the hands and the torso. And the footwork. Man, you can pull it out, and I'm just impressed, man. The first time I saw your channel, I was like blown away with the quality. So for those who are going to go and just hit you in the comment sections after they watch this interview, I hope. What can you tell us about your channel, the story, what's going on over there?
It's definitely, I can tell you right now, it's more Marvel and anime based, super like, I just want people to feel comfortable and like super inspired by my work, you know, and I'm trying to make the best work that I can possible, like humanly possible. Try to make the best work for somebody to just really be like, oh my gosh, is that stop motion? Like, maybe I can do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can definitely do it. So about the story, your avatar is Steve Rogers over here. So for those of you who didn't catch on that one, I remember we were talking about the choosing of your avatar. You were wanting maybe Freezer, maybe Iron 10, which I don't have, unfortunately. But that would have been awesome, I think.
Yeah, honestly, I love Frieza so much. I mean, he's a bad person, but I love him as a villain because I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball. But I feel like Steve Rogers would fit the role better because, you know, he's kind of like a main character in my series from the first episode, literally like the first scene, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's super awesome, bro. So I had that Freezer over there. So I'm really glad that you went into the Steve Rogers avatar because otherwise it will have been weird for Freezer to be here without a proper avatar because his body is so small. So
it would kind of look weird.
Yeah, he was weird. So if you guys see these kind of awkwardness, but I just want to show my avatar as well. So this is a premiere over there. So thank you, CD.Animation, for having your face reveal here on YouTube.
Of course, man.
on my channel, bro. That's super awesome. I will do the same, but you guys won't be able to see my face, but you will see my
Hey!
Oh, no. Check this out. I have a head in this stuff. It's sweet,
The
huh?
helmet is too cool. And the fact that you made that is even better. So,
oh, thank you, man. I just ordered this on a 3D printer, and it came out super good. So that's the reason that we've been holding a little bit on this episode because we were waiting on this one. But I think it's super sweet because of the green screen. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I have my antenna and stuff over there. So if you see my face going like weird appearing and disappearing, that's just the way it is. So thank you for the long wait, man. I was sorry. I was every week I was telling you almost there, almost there, almost there, and you got to see the process.
Yeah, man, and I'm cool with that. You know, the fact that I'm here right now is crazy, man. So I'm glad you took your time and did what you had to do. So.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure. So, so what can you tell us about the story of your episodes? Of because you have a pretty cool universe on your stop motion series, man. What can you tell the people about the story, about what's going on in your head for the next episode? What's the current status over there?
Yeah. So, chapter 1 was not scripted at all. It was kind of just. When I was younger, I had these ideas of just, I'm going to make this scene. I'm going to make this random stop motion. And then one day, you know, years later, I'll just put it all together. And therefore, you know, chapter 1 came out. But then certain scenes from like the snow scene to me, like dropping off Captain America, those were made like 4 to 3 to 2 years ago. I just put everything together to make a series. And then after chapter 1, that's when I decided to start scripting things. And then my brain just kept, you know, getting these ideas. And I was like inspired by these movies. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to start buying more figures, not just to collect, but to actually animate every single one, you know, like every single one behind me is going to be in my series. I mean, it's kind of a spoiler, but you know.
How do you find the time to do it, man? Because, personally, I'm just struggling with dropping out the next episode because of work and life. You know, how can you manage on that?
Well, the thing is, I have 2 jobs, and I'm also selling art on the side. But stop motion is my passion, and it's like something I want to make into a career one day. You know, and in order to push myself to that point, to where like if I want to get, you know, to a point where I'm like really popular or, you know, everyone's seeing my stuff, you know, you have to push through that like comfort level. Like your comfort level's down here, but you kind of have to push past that, and you have to push past, you know, the tiredness and all these other things that go into it. But it's all brain work, man. Like it's all mental work. Like, oh, you know, if I just do this thing or I find this motivation to keep going, just keep going, you know. You'll find it. And I definitely found it within the past couple of years. And chapter 1 through 3 was definitely a lot of work. And I stayed up super late. I'll stay up till 3 a.m. I'll like get off my first job, work on my stop motion for a couple hours, go to my second job, get off of that, and then start animating till I go to bed, man. It's just, it's all just passion. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's all just passion and dedication to my work, because if you want to get somewhere, sometimes you gotta break that mold, and you gotta break that comfortable level, you know.
So I just want to go and ramble about the normally I have a format about the things that I want to ask you, but it's basically 5 or so questions, and from there we build up the conversation. But I think it's going super fluid, man. I got this thing with every single stop motion. It's been a few people that have been on the show, but I've been talking with a lot of guys over there in the community, and we just have this shared feeling about the love for the motion and the love for the action
Yeah.
figures. So, what can you
For
tell me
sure.
a little bit about your relationship with action figures? Were you a collector before doing stop motion, or how that process came out to you?
All right. So it kind of started with 3-inch G.I. Joe figures. It
Okay.
started with those little ones, and I would collect those because my uncle had them, and it actually started with like Hot Wheels to Legos to then to Marvel Legends, and then I think once I hit Marvel Legend, like collecting Marvel Legends, I just like that's when I really wanted to get into stop motion because I would animate with these GI Joe figures, and they were so small I just couldn't really animate with them. Um, I mean, I think it was 2012 when I started, and I would use my mom's phone, and I would press record, and then I would pause it, and then play it, and pause it, and play it while I'm trying. So it's like you'll sit, like have a figure sitting here, and then maybe 3 seconds later, it's like 3 seconds
Yeah,
more, and it's like,
I
yeah.
know.
But I mean, I had this dream of animating one day because once I found out that the movies I watched as a kid were stop motion, just blew my mind. I'm like, how is that even possible? Like,
Yeah.
how are these movies stop motion? They're so good. They're so lifelike. And that's what also inspired my style. My realistic style was, all the movies like Fantastic Mr. Fox,
Oh,
Coraline, all these
yeah,
other ones,
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is why I'm telling you, man. You are telling my story. That's the same process
Thank you.
that I went through. So I remember using a camera that my dad he had it for me, but it was not a
Mhm.
camera for slow motion. And 1 second later, you will see a movement, and you will never notice
Yeah.
how good you were unless you have a pro equipment. So nowadays,
Mhm.
kids have this advantage over us because they get to practice very soon. You put just a
Mhm.
phone, and now we have software specialized for stop motion. It's so cheap to get it.
That's true.
Back in the day, it was so expensive. You needed a special camera, special shooter, or something like that. So nowadays, you can practice a lot, and I think that is going to be super awesome for the community. I remember also my first approach to stop motion was watching, um, of course, these movies, but I'm like you, I never knew. For example, Robocop had stop motion over there, and I loved that movie
Yeah.
when I was a kid. Of course, some others like Star Wars or stuff like that, but King Kong, sometimes other movies that you didn't even believe. So if you
Yeah.
watch those films, probably the VFX are not holding up for today's standards with CG animated stuff. But dude, have you seen the Argonauts scene with the skeletons? The Jason
Yes.
and the Argonauts,
Yes.
dude, that's like
I haven't
that.
seen the movie, but I saw clips on YouTube actually about that, and it's just too cool, man.
Yeah, and if you notice how long ago it was, and the kind of scene that these guys were able to pull out with some live footage and some skeletons
Mhm.
going on over there, it was like, dude, that's
Yeah.
just blowing everybody's mind. So
No, yeah.
nowadays, we do have some epic figures, like you have
Mhm.
possibilities to switch the hands, switch the faces, and stuff like that. So I've seen what you've done with Freezer, man, and you
Ah,
get
thank you.
some really. I think one of the hardest things to do is to get the switch of the face in a point
Mm,
where it just clicks,
yeah.
because if you do it and if the character is not doing something and then you
Yeah.
switch the expression, it is good, but you do it in another level, man, because you do it when the
Thank you.
character is moving around and stuff like that. So it feels pretty natural, bro.
Thank you. I mean, it's also me having bad OCD about that. Like, I get super precise and I get mad because I'm like, why isn't it looking exactly like this? But, the precision is what makes stop motion. So it's it's, you know, it's okay to be super picky about your work. And like, for example, Frieza, his head is actually one of the worst to pop out and pop back in.
Okay.
But, you know, he's my main villain in the series currently, so I have to work with it. And then also the challenges kind of create that like ability to like really get even more detailed with your work. Because like I would take off Frieza's head, and then I would have to pop in the other head, but I would have to put it back exactly how it was,
in the same position,
and then move it to where it's supposed to be for the next frame. But honestly, it's so enjoyable. I love having like a challenge, especially in my own work. And stop motion is a challenge. There is not a time that it won't be if you're, you know, trying to get to that professional level. It's always going to be work, but that's a lesson, you know. You're basically teaching yourself different lessons through stop motion. So
every single frame is experience that you are gathering for the next project, you know.
And you're just teaching yourself, man.
I can tell you put the work, man, and especially one thing that I'm not a big fan of, because most of the time is not done well. But I think you are one of the few people that can do it. The other one is Counter 656, I guess.
Oh yeah.
And the other one is oh man, this guy. I'm a big fan of him as well. The guy who's doing Spider-Man stop motions, and I will get the name back.
Lozas. Are you talking about Lozas?
Yeah, that guy. Exactly. And you guys, you are the three people that I can see to pull out some stuff in a natural environment of a house.
Thank you.
Because of the light is reaching so badly that you will get flicker, or you will get some other stuff going on, people in the background, or maybe something happening over there. And one of the scenes that you've done that it really impressed me is Goku transformation, where you're on the kitchen. And you can see the you cannot see my head.
Yeah.
But you can see the on the back of the kitchen reacting to the key of Goku, man. That was insane, bro. My respect to you.
Yeah, that took forever, but I'm trying to add something new to each episode that challenges me, and it's just something new to the table for fans, you know. I'm not saying I have the biggest fan base, but once I get there, people will notice the work that I put in each episode. So like, and the third episode with the transformations, the fights, that is the biggest challenge. And when Goku transformed, I had to remember what moved which way. This thing moved that way, and then that thing moved back and forward. And then I also had to animate Goku, but it was just so fun to challenge myself in that area, you know. And then it pays off. Hard work pays off. And when I saw that scene, I just kept rewatching it. I was like, oh my goodness, I actually did it. Like, I did what I was, you know, imagining. And sometimes you imagine things and you're like, no, I couldn't do that. But it's like, if you push yourself hard enough, you can do what you imagine, you know?
And I can tell you do that. And sometimes,
thank you.
To be honest with you, it takes me, especially for this Homelander new project that's going to be the next episode on the Chinoverse, I just don't want to repeat a punch, you know. So I've seen a lot of stop motion fights on a lot of good channels, but the thing is that some way or some other way it gets repetitive because of the punches and stuff like that. So maybe if you just switch the camera angle, you will get something new. And I love that about your work. And I've been trying to incorporate that to my own work, because I've seen even between videos, I tried I don't really avoid it, but I'm a big fan of some particular shots, and I just do the same shot with a different character in a different context for a different video. And I just want to challenge myself to that and try to incorporate new ways to do it in stop motion, because otherwise you will end up doing the same over and over again, and that's something that I don't want to do, but but I've seen that your channel is super good on that. It's
thank you.
The shots, the actions, the reactions, the characters. You have a very cool roster over there. So, what can you tell us about the main characters of your channel? I've seen Ken, Spider-Man. We saw Daredevil in the first episode. We saw some other Marvel guys. The Nightcrawler scene, man, that was super awesome.
Thank you. I mean, man, it's definitely confusing. You kind of have to animate character depending on the brand. You know, you have to animate them a certain way, and it's kind of weird. Like Marvel Legends, you kind of have to animate them a certain way because they might be stiffer than SH Figure Arts.
Yeah, and they have these Figure Arts is my brand,
yeah, that's what's tough because when I animate Deadpool or Crossbones, their like waist peg is flimsy. So like I literally have to keep putting like sticky tack in between their legs, and like I'm like,
some guys have this weird torso and it goes like that unintentionally between takes, and it's super weird.
Yeah, but see, I kind of converted to SH Figure Arts over time because I love. Okay, don't get me wrong, I love Marvel Legends, but I just can't. The way I'm trying to progress with my videos, I can't really use Marvel Legends as much as I want to, because it went from, you know, G.I. Joes, Legos, then Marvel Legends, and then like SH Figure Arts and Figma and stuff. But like SH Figure Arts is by far my favorite brand, specifically because like I can animate good with them at 24 frames per second.
Yeah.
You know, Marvel Legends, you have to be very like precise because they might, you know how certain legends will like click instead of just
stuff like
struggle,
that. Some joint is fancy and the other one is super stiff. And I had that one. I think the worst figure I had from Hasbro is the G.I. Joe ones because of the heat. Because they have an extra extension over there. But the engineering on that is not working, man. You know.
Yeah.
I used those G.I. Joes for the Batman video, and I was hating them so much because they were so hard to stand up.
Yeah.
They're really simple poses, and Batman was an SH Figure Arts, and I was just like, okay, I have to finish this video. I wanted to add some more shots, but I ended up hitting those guys because I needed some actions on where those guys needed to be falling and reacting to punches, and it was just crappy, man. I used to like, okay, next. But if you are going to use them for gun shots and stuff like that, it's going to be super easy to animate with them. But for that video, I just ended up hating the G.I. Joe line.
I mean, props to you, man, though. Like, honestly, the fact that you still were willing to animate with them is already good. And that's why I'm trying to like,
thank you, man.
I'm not trying to stray away from Marvel Legends, but like, I already have some Legends in my story, which I'm going to keep for sure. But like, I'm trying to convert to SH Figure Arts more because it's just easier to animate, and the price of Legends are going up.
Yeah, that kind of sucks, you know?
Yeah,
because
and the one thing that's
down.
like, and honestly, the one thing that's bothering me about Legends is that you can't see what's in the package anymore, and that's what's upsetting, because sometimes I will buy a Marvel Legends and it will be defected, but I couldn't see inside the package, so how was I supposed to know, you know?
And to be honest, the amount of plastic that they are getting outside of the planet is just a sheet of plastic, man. You know, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I want to talk about, let me see if I can remember the questions, bro, because the conversation is going super fluid, man. So I want to ask you, which one was the first action figure that you ever animated? Did you remember?
Ooh. Okay, so the 3-inch ones were definitely the G.I. Joe ones, Duke, Destro. But if we're talking about Marvel Legends, like those specific action figures, the first ever Legends that I had was the Pizza Spidey back in like what 2015.
That's
I
an
believe.
awesome figure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have a video up on my YouTube, and it shows Spidey with War Machine or Iron Patriot, and he's shooting the web at the pizza, and he picks it up. But that took forever because I was just getting into action figure stop motion, and that was a whole new world. I expected it. Oh, it's just like Legos. No, once you really get into it, you're like, whoa, this is a different level, man.
Yeah, Legos are better than or easier to animate than Marvel Legends.
I mean, they're way lighter, and you can use
areas,
so many different resources. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember these. I think my very first Marvel Legends animation was the Spider-Man one, and I was just doing a swing action scene because I just Spider-Man, So I was holding the figure with my hand and removing everything on Photoshop. So it took forever to animate. So now I want to get back and do another scene like that one, but I think it's been like 7 years or something. And now I have the SHF from the last movie, not the one that has the gold, but the suit that it's at the end of the second movie,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And actually, that video, the older Spider-Man video with the green screen where he's flying around, I think that was the first video that introduced me to your channel, and I was just blown away by that.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah. I was super excited because like I was just getting into like Marvel Legends stop motion. I was just looking for some like inspiration and everything, and I saw that web swinging video, and that was just so cool, man. Like the shots you did and the angles.
Thank you, man.
It was amazing.
I want to get a new Spider-Man episode for season 3 of the universe, and it's going to. In that moment, I think that figure is from the second movie of the Andrew Garfield.
I know that's the one. Every time I see that one, it reminds me of your work.
That's an awesome figure, but it's like a blend between the movie and the comic version. Because if you see the figure, it doesn't resemble the movie, but it's a super cool figure, So, anyways, when I had that one, I just went for it, and I love the aesthetic proportion of the muscles instead of the Tom Holland new Marvel Legends. Because
did it have the butterfly joint?
What?
Did that one have the butterfly joint?
I think it was the first one that included the butterfly. But the articulation was super cool because also Up Crunch was super cool. But I think the neck was not that good. But I was able to pull out some pretty epic poses on that one. And I just want to make a new episode using the SHF. And I just need to find the time. But I've seen a lot of people dominating on Spider-Man videos. And when I did that one, it didn't kick off as good as I wanted it to be. View-wise, it didn't. I think it took a long time to get the views. And to be honest with you, I was a little bit disappointed because I was like, dude, I just made an epic Spider-Man swinging sequence that nobody is watching. But for a long time, I wanted to make a fight with Spider-Man, but I think a lot of channels can do that very well. So whenever I jump back into Spider-Man, it's going to be just to top myself in anything that I've been doing so far. But because I have so much love for the character. But anyways, have you the other one I want to include over there is the Venom from the Marvel Legends line. That's an epic figure. Actually, it is so good that I am going to stick to it instead of upgrading to the SHF. I'm pretty sure the SHF is super awesome. but price-wise, is going to get me outside of
Oh
market,
yeah. Yeah, I looked into it. I looked into the Carnage one, the Venom one. I don't know. I feel like the Marvel Legends one it's good, you know.
Yeah, it is.
And sometimes there are legends that you can settle with instead of SH figure arts because they're just well made.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like to diss on Marvel Legends too much. But me personally, I can't really use them as much as I used to, you know. So
yeah, especially in the hands department or accessories, sometimes they are very limited. Yeah. Anyways, man. So I wanted to ask you as well. What's going to be like the next steps on your multiverse? So what's going on over there? So can you tell us a little bit of a summary about the story? What happened in episode 1, episode 2, and episode 3, and what's going to happen next?
So chapter 1 was all just like an introduction to these figures and just like kind of showing this new perspective on toys, because I'm trying to like implement a toy's life, not just like, oh, this is a stop motion, their own universe, but it's basically about toys living in the human world, and they're trying to get around and they're trying to deal with the toys that Colton keeps buying, you know. And because he's an anime nerd, so he's buying all these like anime figures and the Marvel Legends and like just the Marvel characters in general. They have to keep up and they're trying to like fight their way to the top, you know. But it's kind of like, it's just a story progression with Frieza in the beginning, because it's like kind of like going by arcs. You know, chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4 basically focus on Frieza, and you know the anime characters are helping the Marvel characters defeat the bigger villains, and you know, each episode was very hard to do, specifically because I was just trying to elevate each level. I'm not trying to stay at the same level, you know, each episode. And I want something extraordinary to happen each episode. So, you know, I went from 18 frames per second, chapter 1, and then chapter 2 was 20, and then chapter 3, I pushed myself to 24, which I'm really happy about.
That's super cool. And I can tell as well the level of the fighters that you bring into the table is going up. Like, I think, I don't remember who said to whom, but some characters said, "Oh man, these guys are just we have no chance against the Dragon Ball
Iron Man,
fighters." Yeah,
because it was kind of just like Iron Man's realization to all the anime characters. He's like, yeah, anime characters, they're too overpowered, you know, so we really just don't have a chance. And he kind of gave up because he was already dying at that point, but he was trying to tell Ant-Man, like, let the new guys take care of it. The new guys, as in the new like anime toys and stuff. But see, I'm trying to bring back, because I was kind of focusing on Marvel toys in the beginning, then to anime, but now I'm going back to Marvel because it's hard to explain without spoiling too much.
But how do you think, without the spoiler? Because I tried to do the same on the Chinoverse, but one thing I love about your content is that you have a base of a more realistic. I don't want to use that word because we are talking about fictional characters, but you are aware of this guy is able to destroy a planet, and this other dude just barely can lift a car. You know, You have that balance, pretty cool. And what I try to do is just incorporate all of these characters and make the same ceiling for the power levels, and from there just adjust the characters according to the universe. You know, because if you get, for example, if I get Goku, he's going to be the top of probably Dragon Ball. But who's going to be on top of DC is going to be Superman. So probably they are on the same level. If you ask internet, everyone will tell you who wins. But I just don't want to go into that because I think it's a little bit unfair, But for example, Homelander is the strongest guy on the boys,
Yeah.
And when I was posting about the next episode, everybody in the comment section was like, "Oh, everybody can and wipe the floor with Homelander." And if you think about it, But in this universe, Homelander is on the top of his universe. So, for example, if Piccolo is not, Homelander wins. So that's kind of my approach. People don't hate me over there, so just bear with me, and I promise it's going to be awesome.
But it's also like that's your universe, and you can implement. I mean, even if people make fun of you, even if they talk trash, you're like putting in the vision that you see, and even if it's not totally accurate to this like scale level,
that's accurate, man.
Your choice.
Accurate. I mean, Captain America was saving Wanda from the children of Thanos. That makes no sense,
See, I do see that though. Like, I don't want to like tell you to do anything you want, but I'm just saying, like, the way you want to implement something in your animations is your choice. It's nobody else's choice. Obviously, sticking to a certain scale level makes sense though, and it would only make sense to like do certain things with certain characters, or have certain people fight, or like somebody lose so quickly because it would just make sense. But you can kind of do whatever you want. It is your own universe.
Thank you, man. Thank you for Thank you
and
for that.
Honestly, your work is amazing, and I like how like even though there's just a huge range of different characters and power levels, you still try to put them together in a certain way, and it's beautiful, man. Like, honestly.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I just want to stick to the maybe 3 top universes, maybe 4, which is Dragon Ball, Marvel, DC, which I'm a big fan of, but I'm not that informed about it.
Same.
I'm a big fan of Superman, but I'm not sure if sometimes he went to a specific sun and then he fight another guy and then he became super powerful. I don't know. I'm just a big fan of Superman as a character in the Nolan universe. So that's my approach. And I just want to add some other characters, of course, from One Punch Man. I'm a big fan of that. And the main idea was
I love that.
Season 1 was One Punch Man versus Dragon Ball, but I just had to wait a little bit on that because we only have Genos, Saitama, and Garu in that figure form, and I just cannot wait to make some costumes like I did for the Moon Rider. That was a custom, but I think that character was super cool for that episode. So those are going to be the main universes. And spoiler alert, maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe there is going to be some Star Wars over there. Maybe it's going to be some other universes mixing, but the main universes are going to be those ones. So yeah, man, thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, One Punch is one of my favorite mangas, and I've read almost the whole series. And obviously I've watched the anime, but man, the animation is crazy, and I'm so happy that we have an animator like you doing Dragon Ball versus One Punch, because you'll hear about it, but you won't really see anybody like put in 100% effort to animate like a whole entire universe, clashing, and it's so cool. And
I think the only other dude that is doing that is CM.ANIMATIon. He's having some epic stuff with that, but I have not seen so much love for Saitama or something like that. I'm sure I'm missing some names over here, but I just want to incorporate on that one. And I'm having a really hard time after the Homelander stop motion video. I'm having a really hard time deciding which is going to be the next episode because I want to do Garu versus 8, and those 8 are going to be the 8 bench warmers of their own universe. And if you look into my channel, there's a video, or I think it was an Instagram live, where I was talking about the main rooster. And dude, I just love that one. It's not a spoiler, but I think it was. I'm going to have Hawkeye, which is it's an Avenger, but it's so.
Are we talking about the comic version or the MCU?
The movie version, the MCU version, but probably not until the Hawkeye series, probably in between Thanos and stuff like that. So it's going to be that guy. It's going to be Krillin from Dragon Ball.
Oh, yes. I love that guy.
That figure is one of the best they have put out.
That's why I think my first review was the Krillin review, because I just love that character. Not only just the character, but the figure itself. He's really well made. Awesome. And I just love how they made him super like animated and not just kind of like plain. They really put like depth into each face sculpt, into the whole like outfit. And then he has a bag of senzu beans. That was my favorite part.
Yeah, I couldn't wait to animate that dude. So I have that guy. Then the other guy is going to be he's going to be a Power Ranger on that episode. I'm not sure if it is going to be the black one or the blue one from the original team. I'm going to have Snake Eyes. I'm going to have the Thing from the Fantastic Four.
I love the Thing.
And I'm going to have Casey Jones from the Ninja Turtles, which is another one of my main universes. So people can wait to love my 2 episodes of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's going to be they're going to play a big role in the Chinaverse very soon. So and I forgot the other ones, but it's mainly those.
Super excited for that. I love Mikey. Mikey's my favorite. That is for sure.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Yeah. And he's still alive.
You see the new movie?
What?
That new trailer coming out for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, man. What do you think?
Oh, so excited for that. Honestly, like the animation is so cool. It reminds me of Into the Spider-Verse animation.
Yeah, it does.
Which is definitely super creative, super different. So I'm excited for that.
Even if the movie is crap, the art department is epic. So that's
that is
cool.
True.
Yeah. I've seen some people complaining about Seth Rogen being there. But I don't know. I mean, I think he's a fun guy. And if he loves the turtles, and if he's smart, he's going to get a very cool team of people who tell them what to do with the turtles. And I think, for example, in the 2014 cartoon from Nickelodeon, the CGI one, that was super awesome. The super awesome. The first 2 or 3 seasons were super cool. They were like love letters to the characters, And if they do something like that, I'm sure it's going to be awesome. And one thing I think people need to be aware of is that these movies are meant to be watched by kids. And if new kids love those characters, they're going to live on forever, Like, and I've seen some 40-something people, 40-something-year-old people like me talking about no, they screw up and stuff like that. It's if you want to watch the original content, go back and watch the original content, but you need to give space for improvements,
Yeah, that's very true. And it kind of reminds me of like what Dragon Ball is currently doing. You have, if you grew up on Dragon Ball, you have Dragon Ball, then Z, and Z was violent, and it had a little bit of cursing, but it was real. It felt real, and I think in Super it kind of died down. Like there's no blood. I mean, a little bit, but there's like no blood. It just doesn't feel as intense as Z did. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like Super was good, but I don't think it was as good as Z. And it's kind of like some industries are kind of like going back to that, like, oh, let's make it for kids, and it's like, but we grew up with the show, So like it should be growing with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Instead of like regressing back to.
If you think about it a little bit, for example, I've seen those shows with kids, and their reaction is very different from the kid version of me, or maybe the kid version of you.
Yeah.
So you have to just think about it. For example, I hate what they did with the last Ninja Turtles cartoon. It was just it was just bad, you know.
I know what you mean.
But for example, if you think about He-Man, the new He-Man series, the Revelation one, is super cool, man. It's super cool.
Oh, yeah.
The people is just giving a lot of hate because it doesn't resemble what they remember. But I'm pretty sure if somebody is a fan of He-Man from the original one, you cannot stand the original episodes. They are so clumsy and so cheesy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I mean, I watched He-Man Revelations. I loved it. Like,
it is awesome. Yeah, it is super cool. People is complaining because, of course, there is an agenda over there. But man, come on, we have an epic toy line, and we have an epic. I think I've never seen He-Man kicking so much ass. I mean, we have some really cool action figures and action scenes. I mean, you know.
Yeah, actually, that commercial that I made for that guy, that promotional ad, was with that He-Man from Revelation. And those new figures are sick. Like, I had to get one, not just for the promotional ad, but for myself, because I enjoyed the show.
Yeah. It is super cool. And the design of the characters is super cool as well. So the Skeletor and He-Man are on the Tuniverse there.
Yeah, I'm excited for the next episode, man. Honestly,
it's taking a while. I just need to do a few more shots. They're going to be a little bit complicated because I'm at the beginning I was not going to add green screen. I wanted to go all practical, but I just add some green screen shots, and it really pushes up what I can do in animations and with the fights. You know, so it is not looking as good as the live action stuff or the live shoots. But it is going to be worth it, man. It's been 7 months, man. I need to finish that project. Yeah.
But hey, it's all right to do both. You know, having practical and special effects. You know, that's kind of also what I try to do with my series, because it was kind of more practical. But now I'm getting into like a little bit of green screen here, a little bit of like special effects like electricity and whatnot. But I'm still sticking with practical. You kind of just have to find a way to like implement both into what you work on, you know?
Yeah, to balance it, because if the shot is not possible to make it with practical stuff, and if the final thing is going to look cool, but is going to elevate the story a little bit,
I
mean, go for it. For example, that Spider-Man video, there is no way I could have done that one with the figure on the set, so I had to make it apart. So the set is moving and it's one shot of the swinging motion, and then we have the character, and the combination of those two, I think it was pretty cool. So some shots you need to do it,
yeah,
for sure, man, for sure.
I mean, it's good to do both, and I'm trying to get more into practical, even though it's hard to explain. Like with your style, you kind of have to see what works best and what makes more sense. I don't have a lot of resources. It may seem like I do, but I really don't. And that's why I'm trying to. That's why I'm also trying to put in like, you know, practical effects. Because I don't have the resources or the software to do explosions or whatnot, because I honestly don't know a lot about software and special effects, but I just use what, you know, works for me.
What do you use to edit?
I use Power Director. Everything that I do is on the phone.
Awesome.
I wish I had a computer. I wish I had other resources.
I mean,
but
honestly, that has like another level of respect you just add to your work, man.
Thank you.
because it's way harder.
And I want to show people that.
Yeah, you're putting stop motion in legendary level, you know.
Thank you. I mean, I just want to show people that you can use what you got and still make something amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just have an iPhone, but I have this dream of being an amazing animator one day. So I just want to implement anything I can, any type of resources, no matter how wacky it may seem. I'm still willing to use it, you know, fishing line, tape, books, like clay, like anything to get to where I want to be. Yeah.
Awesome, man. So, anyways, man, just to continue with the question kind of stuff. One thing I really like to ask to any other animator over there is, what advice would you give to your younger self? Like, with your experience today, what advice can you give to new animators? That's kind of the philosophical question over there.
I mean, I know it's simple, but you just don't give up. You know, I've had people make fun of me. I've had people laugh at my work and be like, "Oh, your stop motions are too short," or "Oh, you play with toys." You know, it's like, let them talk, because they're just insecure about themselves. But if you keep pushing towards your dreams, and if you want to be a stop motion animator, or if you want to work at Leica Studios, you know, you can. You just have to keep pushing yourself. But the one thing that I kind of didn't do is give myself time and give myself credit. I would always, you know, myself or be like, "Oh, your videos don't look that good, so delete," you know. But give yourself credit, give yourself time, and just don't give up. Just keep going, no matter how hard it may seem. Because I've seen other animators that we lost our touch with each other because they stopped animating. They stopped talking to people, and they're like, "Oh, well, toys are stupid, and you know, I don't collect that stuff anymore." I'm like, well, yeah, and it's kind of like you have to get past this breaking point, you know. Yeah, and you just have to not really care what other people say, no matter if it's your style, no matter if it's the fact that you collect toys, you know, just keep being yourself, authentic, like 100% being yourself. And once you find yourself, then everything will elevate, everything will become clear. And once you get to that point, it's kind of like you skyrocket, man. Like, it's a great feeling.
So that's an awesome advice, man. Also, now that you mention it, I think nowadays it's easier to have this toy collecting stuff as a hobby. I remember when I was younger, I was collecting figures, and there was a point when I was a kid, and then I needed to grow up, but I was still trying to find figures, and I was like feeling guilty about it because I was supposed to be an adult, you know. And it took me years to go back into buying figures. And if you think about it, it's nowadays it's more acceptable than ever to be a geek, to be a fan of Marvel and anime and stuff like that. And yeah, man, that's a super advice, man. Thank you on that one.
Yeah, of course. And you know, keep buying figures. If you want figures, go get them, man. Like, you have one life, and if you're gonna lose this whole entire career or this whole entire, you know, lifestyle just because you were afraid of it, your whole life will change in a whole different route. You know, I'm not saying it's going to be bad, but you kind of lose your childhood. You lose your energy, you know.
Your mojo, yeah. We have a saying over here in Mexico that we said that the kid grows, but as he grows, the price of his toys also grow. You know. And that's something that's something cool. Especially, I've seen this with some little fellows, like people in the high school or something like that, that they want to get into stop motion, but they get frustrated because they don't have enough money to buy figures. And then I've seen some older guys like me that now they have a job and stuff like that, and they spend a lot of time on figures. And I will also add to your advice that you only need one figure to do stop motion, you know, and one
Exactly,
camera. So
exactly.
you can practice with that. You don't need to wait. Probably if you look at my channel or your channel, people is going to maybe think, especially younger ones, they're going to think that you need to buy a lot of stuff, to have a lot of stuff, to have a lot of knowledge before they start doing stuff. And the truth is, that's bullshit. You just need one figure, one toy,
Yeah,
and one camera, and
honestly.
that's it. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, man, that's super cool advice. So, anyways, man,
of course.
I think if we don't cut it at some point, we will be talking for hours, man. It is really my pleasure to be talking with you here today. Thank you for lending me your voice, your face, your talent. I'm pretty sure people is going to watch at your clips as we speak, and
Sweet.
And that's going to be super awesome. I just wish somehow this project of the Don't Stop the Motion helps people find other channel like yours or stuff like that.
Thank you.
So it's my pleasure, man. You are very talented, and I'm pretty honored to be talking with you today. So anything you want to say to the people before we cut this one?
I want to say, I don't know if anyone's told you, but I am definitely proud of you and how far you've come. I mean, you've been on YouTube for years, and I'm really happy that you kept going. I don't know, I can only assume that you've been through hardships, you've been through different times, you know, within that time frame. But you're doing great, man, and you're only getting better from here, and that's what I hope to do as well.
Thank you so much, man.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
very
of course.
inspiring, man. I've been around a lot of a lot of time, man, and sometimes I procrastinated, but I just have this love for figures, and we just have this love for stories, and in my head I have like 10 more episodes. I wish to be able to tell you guys, but I just need to find the time, and as you said. I think it's especially for stop motion, you need to be very disciplined on your time, on your sleeping hours, on your settings.
That is true.
Everything is it's sometimes it's more like a preparation of the shot or planning and stuff like that, and then you actually shoot it. And thank you, man. Thank you. I've been around. I've been doing Star Wars stuff. I've been doing Transformers. I've been doing Ninja Turtles. And now I think one thing we have in common in the channels is that we are building up this superhero universe with toys.
Yes,
and that's just super awesome, bro. Yeah, I can I can tell you, and I want to do this as an open invitation. I hope we find the time to do some collaboration, maybe a little bit or something like that. I would love to somehow contribute to your channel, or if you can do it into mine, that would be my honor as well, man.
Well, actually, since we're already here, I was going to ask if you wanted to collab on one of my future episodes. I have 2 animators helping me out during one of the episodes. I can't say which one, but I would love for you to help animate something specific for one of my episodes.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Sweet.
Yeah. I'm
Awesome.
up for it. Yeah, super cool, man. Count on me. Yeah, for sure. That's super awesome, man. So I think we need to cut this one. So, anyways, man, thank you so much for being on the channel. Remember,
thank you so much, man.
Don't stop the motion. Keep collecting. Hit that subscribe button. If you like this one, you can help in many ways. Just with a share, a like, a rewatch, or something like that. Whatever you want to do to support these animators that we do with love content for you guys. So thank you so much, man.
All right, thank you so much, bro. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, man. See you.
Thank you guys for watching another episode of Don't Stop the Motion. Let me know in the comments who will you like to see next. See you soon.
Thank you so much for supporting the channel with your like, subscription and notification bell. If you'd like to help a little bit more, consider becoming a Patreon, so you can help the channel a big deal. Thank you so much for supporting. I am Chino Moreno and I will see you in the next video.